Clap your hands, do your dance, stomp your feet, raise them while you're here. Clap your hands, do your dance, celebrate, raise your Howard's name. This is not a sad song, not a mad song either. I know it's been hard on you lately. Just take a breather. Tell God thank you. He gave you everything you have. Rest as life. We should be there. We should be there. Grace is this life, what a gift. He's been lifting our heads, trying to wake us up to the truth, through the trials, through the storms, through the tears. Every heartbeat's a reason, every moment a test in its season. Rise up, be grateful, give God your best. Do your dance, stomp your feet, praise Him while you're here. Clap your hands, do your dance, celebrate, praise your Howard's name. With all my being, with all of my heart, I've got to bless you. Precious Lord, with my
Post Katrina, I ain't have nowhere to live. Called my brother Smoke, he told me I could play the crib. He said he had a FEMA trailer and the place was his. And he had a plug on them pills, we could make it big. So I moved in it, kept a tool in it. Money started coming, what to do with it. New Year came like a Yankee in a blue fitted. Spot how my man Smoke getting too loose with it. New faces coming in and out the trap. Whole time this the place we land all our hairs at. City told me, Chef, you need to move, that's a fair trap. Come to the crib and shake back before they raid that. That's advice that you know I had to take. Packed all my bags, left the dope, but I kept the safe. Gave my life to the Most High and got amazing grace. Week later, feds kicked the door, but I missed the case. Amazing grace.
my heart, I've got to bless you. Precious Lord, with my whole
3 open cases sitting in that cell. Replaced the C with an H, I was sitting in hell. I went them up with no commissary, it crushed me. It made me feel like my family didn't love me. That's when I knew that street shit wasn't for me. It opened up my eyes, started searching for him above me. Had me ducking bullets when niggas was trying to slug me. I knew I had to change, cause shit was starting to get ugly. Opened up the Bible, started reading certain scripts. Couldn't understand before, now it's all making sense. Friends starting to look at me strange. I had to change the clip. All they wanna do is flash pose, but they ain't taking pics. Plus Philly all Muslim, so it's major hate. I hit the street, started to teach, trying to change their fate. Plus in that book of life, I'm trying to make some space. If I don't make it, all praise for his amazing grace. Amazing grace.
Right now, somebody is hating on you, and you and me is what we gonna tell them. I'm in a whole different stratosphere. Vision is sharp and my path is clear. On my purpose plus I'm eloquent. Your opinion of me is irrelevant. I'm in a whole different stratosphere. Vision is sharp and the path is clear. On my purpose plus I'm eloquent. Your opinion of me is irrelevant. Doesn't matter what they say about me, cause I know God don't play about me. Rumors don't matter if they aren't true. The reason they mad is cause they aren't you. They aren't blessed, they aren't highly favored. They're just jealous that somebody made it. Words may hurt, but it didn't kill. And you can't break what you didn't build. Use these words as an affirmation. Don't let them distract you from your aspiration. Let the hatred feed your inner beast, but always keep God as your centerpiece. What that mean? You gotta be in B with it. Always. Don't stand for nothing, then you need to sit and watch the real soldiers take a risk. If you relate to this, then homie, make a fist. I'm in a whole different stratosphere. Vision is sharp and my path is clear. On my purpose plus I'm eloquent. Your opinion of me is irrelevant. I'm in a whole different stratosphere. Vision is sharp and the path is clear. On my purpose plus I'm eloquent. Your opinion of me is irrelevant. If the keyboard is crazy and the drum pad is kicking, you can pass me the mic. I'm about to start spitting. Will they love me, feel me, relate to me, lyrically, hate me, despise me, corrupt inside spiritually. It's the times that we're living in. No selling my soul, there's no giving in. I ain't waiting on a Judas purse. Train till the arms are bulging through the shirts. Get the picture, that's what cameras do. Protect what I own, I got hammers too. Prefer peace and I'm praying on it. Club shame, let Damon weigh in on it. Use these words as an affirmation. Don't let them distract you from your aspiration. Knowledge and wisdom helps you free yourself, and success will find you, so be yourself. I'm in a whole different stratosphere. Vision is sharp and my path is clear. On my purpose plus I'm eloquent. Your opinion of me is irrelevant. I'm in a whole different stratosphere. Vision is sharp and the path is clear. On my purpose plus I'm eloquent. Your opinion of me is irrelevant. I need y'all to say that every day. We on a whole different stratosphere. We don't give a damn what the haters say. Yeah, I'm out.
Abanawa, Shabashamayim, Kwadash, Hayah, Shamka, Yahweh, Malakwatha, Taba'ah, Ratazaka, Hayah, Aisha, Ba'aratazar, Kawa, Hayah, Bashamayim, Lathananawa, Lacham, Kal, Yawam, Wasalachnawa, Chaubwathnawa, Kasalachnawa, Chaubwathinawa, Wala'a, Tabia Anawa, Manasaya 1, Abal, Hawashayanawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Wa'ala, Wa'atapa Arath, La'ai Walamyam, Aman.
Shalom, family. Shalom. Pray everybody's doing well. All praises to the Most High. All right. First and foremost, how's my volume? Because I was told, Elder Zahab, your mic is jacked up. So let me know in the comment section. How's my mic doing? While you're doing that, I wanna introduce. Well, these brothers don't need no introduction, right? We have Captain Zakaria. We have Officer Malak Zakwan, and of course we got Priest. All right. So brothers want to say anything? Come off mute.
Shalom, family.
Shalom, shalom. Could I be heard?
Khan.
All praises, all praises. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashim, Mashiach, Yahushai. Happy feast of dedication, everybody.
Khan.
Shalom,
Khan.
shalom.
All praises. That's right. Yeah. So it is a feast. So do remember, what I mean, a feast is a time of, mirth and gladness and whatnot. So we have to remember it's a feast and we give thanks to the Most High, right? So that's what it's about. So let's get straight to it, right? So earlier, Priest went into the history of feast of dedication and where it can be found throughout the scriptures. He also showed that the Maccabees, they didn't do anything new. They didn't reinvent the wheel, so to speak, right? They were following the examples of, their forefathers like Solomon and so on and so forth, because he was the one, the Most High imparted on him to build the temple. So whenever you hear about Hanukkah, right, pretty much what it's saying is just a rough translation of dedication. Priest brought that out in Second Chronicles chapter 7, right? And when you look in the translation and the transliteration, it's pretty much saying dedication. That's all it is. So in the spirit of a memorial, right, to remember the things that our forefathers went through, that's why we honor the forefathers by doing these things, right? And at the same time, this is a blessed thing because the Most High, He honors it, right? Because if we was going off, the Lord would have told us that, right? And our greatest leader, Yahushua, he also observed it. So who are we, right? The servant is not greater than the master, right? So without further ado, let me see if I got this right. Let me share my screen. Let's get into it. All right. All right. Slack it. Just bear with me 1 second, brothers and sisters. All right. I'm sharing my screen. All right. So let's get straight to it. So Malak, you want to start the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1? Let's start at 1. We're gonna just breeze through this right quick. You know what I mean? This we ain't breaking no new ground, but we are giving honor and glory to the Most High, right? Through Christ. So
I'll start out one if you want me to. I'll start.
okay. I mean,
I'll
we could however y'all want to do it, we could just move around in the spirit.
Con. You got the next one, Malak. So let's start. First Maccabees 1:1. That's where you want to start at, right? Out of one.
Khan, I don't want.
Con. In those days arose Mattathias, the son of John, the son of Simon, a priest, the son of Jarib, from Jerusalem, and dwelt.
Hold on, Salakia. You at First Maccabees chapter 1 and 1?
Oh, Salakia. You're right. My apologies, everyone. My apologies. Let me go back. Okay. This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 1. And it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chittim, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes, that he reigned in his stead, the first over Greece. Verse 2. And made many wars, and won many strongholds, and slew the kings of the earth, and went through to the ends of the earth, and took spoils of many nations, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him. Whereupon he was exalted, and his heart was lifted up, and he gathered a mighty strong host, and ruled over countries and nations and kings, and became tributaries unto him. Verse 5. And after these things he fell sick, and perceived that he should die. Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable, and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them while he was yet alive. So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died.
Now, I was doing some research, and I can't find how that creep died. It's a lot of speculation on how he died. If you ever seen the movie Alexander the Creep, Alexander the Great or whatever, right? Um they try to Esau try to make it look like, either he died by over drinking or some type of quasi mystery behind his death, but it never really speaks about it. Like the Bible doesn't get into it, so to speak, and there's like a shroud of mystery about it. But believe you me, it's going to be brought out, right? Because how you die is a testament to how you live, right? I just wanted to bring that out because I was looking for that and I couldn't find that. Anyway, read on.
Connor 1. Verse 8. And his servants bare rule every one in his place. And after his death, they put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years. And evils were multiplied in the earth.
Fine. So, like the answer, right? Started to spread after that. Particularly,
Salakia Elder is static.
oh my lord. Yeah. How about now?
Wire is messing up.
Is it better?
It's better now. A little better on my end
Okay,
at least.
Salakia. So, all right. Please bear with me, brothers and sisters. By now in my next class, this problem will be taken care of, right? So, what we're saying, verse 9, right? After his death, they all put crowns upon themselves, so did their sons after them. Many years and evils were multiplied in the earth, right? Because when you think about it, right, his four top generals, they were probably worse than him. Yeah, they were infighting, but did they stop? Did they stop conquering the land? Did they stop colonizing people and doing certain things? Nah, they continued. So they was just as wicked as him, right? And if not worse, because it multiplied, right? Ptolemy went over, took what we call Egypt to this day, right? Seleucus, he took what we know as Persia and so on and so forth. And wickedness just kept going on and on. So, like the scripture says, evils were multiplied in the earth, right? Read on.
Connor 1. Verse 10. And there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus the king, who had been in hostage at Rome, and he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks.
Okay, Khan. So, Priest brought this out earlier, so I just wanted to illustrate, right? Y'all can see my screen. This is the Seleucid kings, right? Priest already brought this out. This ain't nothing new. What I do want to bring about, though, is that look how many Epiphanes, Antiochus or Antiochus, however you want to pronounce it, right? Look how many of them are there. There are many Antiochus Epiphanes, right? So when we're talking about it, we got to talk about the specific one. The one that we need to discuss, or the one that was around the time of the Maccabees, is this one right here. Antiochus the fourth. That's who we need to focus on. He lived around the time of 175 to 164 BC, right? So this devil, this is who we need to focus on, right? The rest of them, you don't want to get thrown off, because in history, if you start looking for certain things, you might look up on another Antiochus and it might, the timeline might throw you off. So this is the one we want to deal with. Khan? Okay, what was that? Verse 11?
Con, we had verse 11. Verse 11, and in those days went there out of Israel wicked men, who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow.
Right. So they said, since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. So this kind of harkens back to when we came out of Egypt, right? Our wicked forefathers, not all of them, but some of them, they were saying the same thing. Because since we left out of Egypt, we don't have leeks, we don't have this, we don't have that. And they harken back to the dainties. They harken back to the niceness of that kingdom. Even though we were being worked to the bone, they don't remember that part. All they remember is the night. It's almost like now when we finally make it into the wilderness, right? some of us, the wicked ones, because some people are going to be delivered to the wilderness just to be judged, right? I could only imagine, and I'll just speak as a man. Some of them are going to say, well, you know what? Damn, it would be nice if we had DoorDash, right? we in the wilderness and whatnot, and people are thinking about the niceties, the dainties of their oppression, of the whole slavery that they just came out of. So I could see where a lot of our people will fall for that, right? Read on. I think it was at 14.
I'm actually at 12.
12.
So
So
this so verse 12. This is First Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 12. So this device pleased them well. Verse 13. Then certain of the people were so forward where herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen. Whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the customs of the heathen.
Khan, priest already brought that out, so already know about that. Read on.
Khan, verse 15. And made themselves uncircumcised, and forsook the holy covenant, and joined themselves to the heathen, and were sold to do mischief. Now, when the king, you were saying something, other one? Or you want me to continue?
Read on.
Khan, verse 16. Now, when the kingdom was established before Antiochus, he thought to reign over Egypt, that he might have the dominion of 2 realms. Wherefore he entered into Egypt with a great multitude, with chariots and elephants and horsemen and a great navy.
This dude got balls. Forgive the my language, but this dude, he's got hubris, as they say, right? He wants to not only rule where he's ruling, but he wanted to enter into another kingdom and reign. He already was reigning over Egypt. It's like he wanted to reign over Egypt, that he might have dominion over 2 realms. That's showing you that he's never satisfied. The wicked are never satisfied, right? Who can you think of in this day and time that reflects that idea of thinking? Everybody knows this great nation right here. With the ruler of this nation, you already have kingdoms, you already have riches, you already have you amass great wealth, but you don't stay at home. You want to have more wealth, more riches. You want to conquer more land. So it's a reflection from the past also to the current of where we're at, right? And why this nation is doomed. This whole kingdom is doomed. Nobody wants, because at the end of the day, the Most High set it up like that. He set it up like that. And the wicked they're gonna fall right into the Most High's trap, right? Read on.
Khan, I'm at verse 18. Right? Verse 18.
Khan, and he made war against
Khan, and he made war against Ptolemy, king of Egypt, but Ptolemy was afraid of him and fled, and many were wounded to death. Verse 19. Thus they got the strong cities in the land of Egypt and took the spoils thereof. And he took the spoils thereof. And after that, Antiochus had smitten Egypt. He returned again in the 143rd year, and went up against Israel and Jerusalem with a great multitude, and entered proudly into the sanctuary, and took away the golden altar and the candlesticks of light, and all of the vessels thereof, and the table of the showbread, and the pouring vessels, and the veils, and the censers of gold, and the veil, and the crown, and the golden ornaments that were before the temple, which all he pulled off. He took also the silver and the gold, and the precious vessels. Also he took the hidden treasures which he found. And when he had taken all away, he went into his own land, having made a great massacre, and spoken very proudly. Therefore there was a great mourning in Israel, in every place where they were.
Could you imagine that? Right? That's like somebody come to your house and just rob you openly and just say, yeah, what you gonna do about it? And go back to where they came from. And you still got to look there. It's the same thing, man. It's an evil world. back then and now. But the problem is that Antiochus, right? The Most High set him up. That's just what it boiled down to. The Most High set him up. And he went into it because of his greed. And we're going to get into that, right? Read on.
Con 1. So,
Where you was at?
verse 26.
26, Con.
So that the princes and elders mourned, and the virgins and young men were made feeble, and the beauty of the woman was changed. Every bridegroom took up lamentations, and she that sat in the marriage chamber was in heaviness. And the land also was moved for the habitations thereof, and all of the house of Jacob was covered with confusion. And after 2 years fully expired, the king sent his chief collector of tribute to the city of Judah, who came unto Jerusalem with a great multitude, and spake peaceable words unto them. But all was deceit. For when they had given him credence, he fell suddenly upon the city and smote it very sore, and destroyed much of the people of Israel. And when he had taken the spoils of the city, he set it on fire, and pulled down the houses and walls thereof on every side. But the women,
which you got to be for that, Salakia. You come there, you speaking words of peace, and you tell the people you just want tribute, right? And then turn around and burn the whole city down. That's why I can't join hands with them. I'm sorry. And anybody talk about we should join hands with them, you going off. All right, read on.
God, 1. Verse 32. But the women and children took they captives and possessed the cattle. They built then built they the city of David with a great and strong wall with mighty towers, and made it a stronghold for them. And they put therein a sinful nation, wicked men, and fortified themselves therein.
Con, let's jump down to verse 41.
Verse 41. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people, and everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathens agreed according to the commandments of the king. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion, and sacrificed unto idols, and profaned the Sabbath.
Con, so we see in verse 11, like I brought out earlier, right? First, a lot of our people were persuaded by their own countrymen, right? Then when you jump down to verse 43, after a period of time, then you say what? Yea, also many of the Israelites consented. So now it's not about persuasion. Nobody's forcing you. You willingly consent, right? And it's the same thing. Look at what happened with the 19 jab, right? First, they came out and they try to get people to persuade you, right? Then after that, a lot of people just gave up and they consented. But the thing about it is, after looking back, because you know what they said, right? Hindsight is 20/20, right? When you look back, was it really worth it? It was all a play. It was all a project for them to record certain things. So it's the same thing with our people. First, they need to be persuaded by their own kind. That's why, what's the term they have? FEMA pastors. Is that correct? FEMA pastors, right? Or those are the preachers. They come into our neighborhood whenever there's a national emergency, and they'll tell us, hey, don't revolt, don't push back, just go along with the government. This is all God plans. This is all part of God's plan or whatever, right? Those are FEMA pastors. Those are pastors that are on the government payroll. They tell them to go into the community and assuage the people and to bring them down to a calm so they could, quote unquote, pacify them. Because at the end of the day, they know that if our people was to revolt, it will go bad, right? And they don't want that. So it's the same thing back then. First, they bring people of our own, come to persuade us. Then after that, you don't need no more persuasion. A lot of us will just fall to the wayside and we just go along just to get along. And that's exactly what happened. Now we at verse 43. Slakia, you were saying something?
Can I show you something? Can you stop sharing for 1 second? I want to share something for 1 second. You're gonna have to actually put it on the screen.
Slakia, stop sharing.
Stop sharing for 1 second. I'm gonna share something to kind of just land back on what you said, right? I don't know if you guys can see this. Let me know if you guys can see this, but there was 1,000 pastors that went to Israel to support Israel. 1,000 Christian pastors. You guys see all these videos? 1,000 Christian, but these are FEMA pastors that Israel has set up to support them, and all the BS that they're doing. You have 1,000 pastors that went and said, "We support you no matter what you do." This is called. These are what Zahab is talking about. FEMA pastors that will drop their morals aside and support whoever they have to support to get paid. Understand this. We'll deal with this later. We'll deal with this later. And a lot of these pastors are black pastors. Many of them are white. Many of them are us too. Yeah, these devils. These pastors are all devils that support some BS to get paid. That's it. I'm gonna stop sharing. I'll share your screen again. That's all I wanted to show. That's it. That's it.
Khan, and that's the truth, because history repeat itself, right? So that's exactly what's going on.
Share your screen again, Zahab.
Yes, sir. Khan, other one. All right. So where was that? Zach 43.
Oh yes, I reread 43.
Khan, other one.
Khan. This First Maccabees chapter chapter 1 verse 43. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion, and sacrificed unto idols, and profaned the Sabbath. Verse 44. For the king has sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the city of Judah, that they should follow the strange laws of the land, and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbath and festival days, and pollute the sanctuary and the holy people, set up altars and groves and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts, that they should also leave their children uncircumcised, and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanliness and profanation, to the end that they might forget the law and change all the ordinances.
And that's exactly what happened. We did forget the law. I saw you get, half of the nation went left, the other half went right. Because a lot of us did forget the law, right? Because it's the same thing. When Priest had the class earlier, what dawned on me? It's the same thing they did in slavery, right? They have something called buck breaking, when, they would do unspeakable things to the man to dehumanize him in public in front of the woman and the children. So what do you think the woman is going to do? Naturally, her fight or flight response is going to kick in, and she's going to say, no, I don't want that to happen to my child. So therefore, she raises the child to be submissive, to not buck up against society, so to speak, or the slave master, whatever the case may be. And before you know it, 2, 3, 4 generations later, this is what you have. So it all comes around full circle. Read on. I think you have 50, King. Verse 50.
Yep. Verse 50.
We might just bounce around for the interest of time, too, because there's a lot to go through. Go ahead.
Con. This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 50. And whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, he said he should die. And in the self same manner wrote he to his whole kingdom, and appointed overseers over all the people, commanding the cities of Judah to sacrifice city by city. Then many of the people were gathered unto them, to wit, every one that forsook the law, and so they committed evils in the land, and drove the Israelites into secret places, even wheresoever they could flee for succor.
So it wasn't everybody who was going along with the BS. It wasn't everybody. Some had to flee, right? Because they wasn't going along with it. Read on.
Verse 54. Now the 15th day in the month of Caslu, in the 145th year, they set up the abomination of desolation upon the altar, and built idol altars throughout the city of Judah on every side.
And I just want to say this, and Priest will probably get into it another time with the academy. That whole idea kept on, and it persisted, where they continually built altars. These people, Matter of fact, let me show you something. This is who you're dealing with. These descendants of demons, right? The Solution Dynasty, right? Let me tell you something. This is from a website called did I lose it? Oh my goodness. I think I did, right? This is hold on. Bear with me real quick. Bear with me. Bear with me. This is from a website called Encyclopedia Iranica, right? And what I want, just bear with me real quick. I had it, but I lost it, right? But this is going to give you the mindset of who these people are. They thought that um they thought that they were gods, right? They thought that they were gods and that they descended from different gods or whatever, right? And to this day, I mean not to this day, but this whole cult thing was going on. So this is from the website Encyclopedia Iranica, right? It says, if you can see on the screen, it says, from the reign of Antiochus the third, right? And we know going all the way back here, this is this dude right here. This is around 223 BC. So from around back that time, right? Um uh onward, so from the reign of Antiochus the third onward, a centralized state cult of the deified king and queen was institutionalized. Now, deified just means you're trying to make somebody into a god. That's all it means, right? It says the Seleucid family claimed the descent from the savior god Apollo. Where we heard this before, right? These people are idolaters to the core. So from one generation to the next, they feel as though they descended from gods. Isn't that similar to how the elites of this world, how they look at themselves and how they look at other people? They believe that their reign is God given, so to speak. Not our, power, the most high, but whatever God they worship, right? So it says, for the sake of the non-Greek subjects, Apollo and his twin sister Artemis were equated with various local sun and moon gods worshipped in the multi polytheistic empire, starting with the reign of Antiochus the Fourth. That devil we're talking about now. The Seleucids associated their role with the cosmic kingship of Zeus, who could likewise be identified with non-Greek sky gods. So they believe it's their divine right to do what they do, to be wicked, right? So when you go back to the scriptures where we were just reading, right? Where was it? What verse were we at?
Let me look at it. We're at verse 55.
55, right? And burnt incense at the doors of the where it says they set up. No, that wasn't it.
54 is what we just read.
Now the 50, right? Desolation upon the altar. Let me read it again. Now the 15th day of the month Caslu, which is the ninth month, right? In the 145th year, they set up the abomination of desolation upon the altar. That's a pagan statue that they put on the altar. Now, when you read Revelations 2, and it talks about the angel of Pergamon, right? When you go into that and they talk about setting up the abomination desolation, when it talks about Satan's seat at Pergamon, it's the same thing. They setting up altars onto these idols, whether it be Zeus, whether it be Diana, whatever the case may. It's the same thing from back then that carried on. So when Paul came on the scene, that's what he was dealing with. A lot of the Israelites that was caught up onto this cult and this foolishness. Right? Read on, verse 55.
Connor 1. This is First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 55. And burnt incense at the door of their houses and in the streets. And when they had rent in pieces the book of the law, which they found, they burnt them with fire. And whosoever was found with any book of the testament, or if any committed to the law, the king's commandment was that they should be put to death. Thus they did by their authority unto the Israelites every month, to as many as were found in the cities. Verse 59. Now the 25th day of the month they did sacrifice upon the idol altar, which was upon the altar of God. Verse 60. At which time, according to the commandment, they put to death certain women that had caused their children to be circumcised.
Because you had certain women who did not listen to them and still did the right thing. Going back to Exodus, what was the handmaid name? I think Pua or Shipra, right? She said she's not going to kill the firstborn, right? The male firstborn. Going back to the book of Exodus, remember, right? She said, "No, I'm not doing that. To hell with what Pharaoh said." And it's the same thing in this time, right? These women, so you got to give it up to our women. Some of them are more rebellious than the men in a good way, meaning that they'll buck up against the system. They'll say, "No, I'm going to circumcise my son. I'm not listening to what the Greek said or whoever's ruling at the time. I'm not doing that. I'm following the Most High God." So at some times you do got to give some type of respect to the woman because they was right there with us. Read on.
Con. Verse 61. And they hanged the infants about their necks, and rifled their houses, and slew them that had circumcised them.
Verse 62 and 63 is very important. Read on.
Verse 62. Howbeit, many in Israel were fully resolved and confirmed in themselves not to eat any unclean thing.
That's how we got to be, brothers and sisters. I said that earlier. I'll say it again. This is what we have to do. Maybe the eating of unclean thing, that's one aspect of it. The most important thing, you got to be fully resolved and confirmed in yourself not to do wicked. To eat an unclean thing, that's a wicked act. You got to be confirmed and you got to have full resolve that you're not going to go against the Most High's commandments. 63, read.
Con. Verse 63. Wherefore the rather to die, that they might not be defiled with meats, and that
Right. Salakia, we supposed to have that spirit where we're ready to die than to eat the foul meats. Now, again, that spirit got to be built up and raised up. You got to pray to the Most High for that spirit. A lot of us don't have it. Some of us do, right? You got some zealots amongst us. But at the same time, let's be honest. A lot of our people, they again, going back to the jab, right? A lot of our people kind of caved. It's like, yo, I'm going to lose my job. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. You know, not knowing that the Most High will always make a way, right? So we got to have that spirit, like it says in verse 63, wherefore they chose rather to die, that they might not be defiled with meats. Now, that's one aspect of it, but I'm talking about the spirit of it. You know what I mean? You rather, look, the Most High is the God of spirits, right? So whatever, if it's better to die for something honorable than to live in something dishonorable, right? So read verse 64. 64?
I'm at 63 still.
Okay,
Yes,
go
Con.
ahead, King.
Wherefore they rather to die, that they might not be defiled with meats, and that they might not profane the holy covenant. So then they died. Verse 64. And there was very great wrath upon Israel.
Con, let's go. Chapter 2.
Khan, this is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 2 and verse 1. In those days arose Mattathias, the son of John, the son of Simeon, a priest of the sons of Joreb, from Jerusalem, and dwelt in Modin. And he had 5 sons, Johanan, called Caddis, Simon, called Thasi, Judas, who was called Maccabeus, Eleazar, called Avaron, and Jonathan, whose surname was Apphus. And when he saw the blasphemies that were committed in Judah and Jerusalem, he said, Woe is me! Wherefore was I born to see this misery of my people and of the holy city, and to dwell there, when it was delivered into the hand of the enemy, and the sanctuary into the hand of the strangers?
Khan. So this man Mattathias was a zealot, man, and he lamented for the state of his people, right? As there is a lot of our people who are zealots, and they lament for the state of confusion that we're in right now. Scripture say oppression makes a wise man mad, right? Jump down to verse 19.
Khan, this is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 2 and verse 19. Then Mattathias answered and spake with a loud voice, though all the nations that are under the king's dominion obey him, and fall away every one from the religion of their fathers, and give consent to his commandments, yet will I and my sons and my brethren walk in the covenant of our fathers. God forbid that we should forsake the law and the ordinances. We will not hearken to the king's words to go from our religion, either on the right hand or the left. Now, when he had left speaking these words, there came one of the Jews in the sight of all to sacrifice on the altar which was at Modin, according to the king's commandment. Which thing, when Mattathias saw, he was inflamed with zeal, and his reins trembled. Neither could he.
It's always got to be one, right? The man just swore an oath, right? The man is like, yo, we're not going to give in, right? Never give up, never give in. And here comes some sellout, right? Here comes this dude, and he chooses to sacrifice on the altar. Read verse 23 again.
Khan, this is verse 23. Now, when he had left speaking these words, there came one of the Jews in the sight of all to sacrifice on the altar which was at Modin, according to the king's commandment. Which thing, when Mattathias saw, he was inflamed with zeal, and his reins trembled. Neither could he forbear to show his anger according to judgment. Wherefore he ran and slew him upon the altar. Also the king's commissioner, who compelled men to sacrifice, he killed at that time, and the altar he pulled down. Thus dealt he zealously for the law of God, like as Phinehas did unto Zambri, the son of Salom.
Khan.
And
Mattathias, yeah, he had zeal, right? And he couldn't hold it. But that's a righteous zeal, though, because the scriptures talk about like Phinehas, right? You could read about that in the book of Numbers. Hold that, Zach. Hold that, Malak. Zach, get Numbers. What's that? 25. Get Numbers 25, King. Numbers 25. That's what he's talking about when he's talking about Phinehas. Get Numbers 25. And let me know when you get it. Start at verse 6. You there, King?
Numbers 25 and verse 6, you're showing, right?
Yes, other one.
Con. And behold, one of the children of Israel came and brought unto him brethren a Midianitish woman, and in the sight of Moses, and in the sight of all of the congregation of the children of Israel, who were weeping before the door of the tabernacle of the congregation.
All right,
verse
so
7. And
when
Phinehas,
hold on 1 second. It's a similar thing, right? Moses was talking to the congregation, right? And the people were lamenting because, again, they sinned. They committed great transgression against the Most High. And people, our people, we get super with it, right? We rip our clothes off. We praying, Lord, forgive us, right? And then here come this dude in the middle of that. He come with, scriptures say, a Midianitish woman, meaning she's a foreign woman. He brings some Hamite, some other chick up in there in the midst while everybody's around in the congregation. Everybody's lamenting and praying, right? This is what this dude Phinehas did. Read verse 7.
Verse 7. And when Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, saw it, he rose up from amongst the congregation and took a javelin in his hand. Verse 8. And he went after the man of Israel into the tent and thrust both of them through. And the man of Israel and the woman through her belly. So the plague was stayed from the children of Israel.
So this dude, right, Phinehas, who was the son of Eleazar, was the son of Aaron, one of Aaron's grandson. went there and just slayed that dude, killed him and the woman, stabbed him up with a javelin in front of everybody, right? Now let's see what the Lord said about that. Read on, verse 9.
Come, verse 9. And those that died in the plague were 24,000.
All right,
Verse
read
10.
verse 10.
Verse 10. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Phinehas the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the priest, had turned my wrath away from the children of Israel while he was zealous for my sake among them, that I consumed not the children of Israel in my jealousy.
So the Most High honored that. The Most High saw that he was zealous, right? Here it is. The Lord had great anger with Israel, and they had a big congregation, right? And they had people was lamenting, and there was a lot of sorrow and stuff. And this man came through with a heathen woman in front of everybody. You know that that's a disrespectful thing. But the point is, he slayed him and the woman out of zeal, his zeal for the Most High, and the Most High honored him, right? Now, when you go back to First Maccabees, that's what it was talking about. When you read verse 26, read that again, Malak.
Khan, this is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 2, and verse 26. Thus dealt he zealously for the law of God, like as Phinehas did unto Zambri, the son of Salam.
Khan, read on.
And Mattathias cried throughout the city with a loud voice, saying, Whosoever is zealous of the law and maintaineth the covenant, let him follow me. So he and his sons fled into the mountains and left all that ever they had in the city. Then many that sought after justice and judgment went down into the wilderness to dwell there, both they and their children and their wives and their cattle, because afflictions increased sore upon them.
Let me ask you this, man. Which one of y'all ready to give it up right now? Right? If the Most High put the spirit of Mattathias on some brothers and was like, hey, we leaving out of this. We ain't doing none of this no more. We gonna get some land down in whatever, Georgia, Carolina, whatever. Who's coming with us? You see what I'm saying? That's the spirit we gotta be in. We gotta be ready to pack up and go. But I know it's hard, right? Most people like, oh, my job, my children, oh, what we gonna do, what we gonna eat. See, we gotta be in the spirit where we gotta just ready to let everything go so we can live for the Most High. Because we ain't living right now in this bondage, right? Let's be real. It's just work, pay bills, maybe have one day off to yourself, and then after that, more problems. So what good is that? Right? All right, where we was at, King?
Verse 31.
Let's go.
Khan. Now when it was told the king's servants and the host that was at Jerusalem in the city of David that certain men who had broken the king's commandment were gone down into the secret places in the wilderness, they pursued after them a great number, and having overtaken them, they camped against them and made war against them on the Sabbath day. And they said unto them, Let that which ye have done hitherto suffice. Come forth and do according to the commandment of the king, and ye shall live. But they said, We will not come forth, neither will we do the king's commandment to profane the Sabbath day. So then they gave them the battle with all speed.
Right. They put them to death. Right. That's why you can never trust your enemy, man. They telling you, oh, don't worry about all the things that you did before. Don't worry about it. Just come down now and everything will be all right. All is forgiven. As soon as they said no, what did they do? They gave it to them with all speed, meaning that they just didn't delay. They just got to killing, right? On the Sabbath. And these people, they was like, look, we're not going to fight on the Sabbath. But this brings out a great point. We're going to touch on this a little bit. Go on, read on.
Khan, verse 36. Howbeit they answered them not, neither cast they a stone at them, nor stopped the places where they lay hid, but said, Let us die in all our innocency. Heaven and earth will testify for us that ye put us to death wrongfully. So they rose up against them in battle on the Sabbath, and they slew them with their wives and children and their cattle, to the number of 1,000 people.
1,000
Now,
people
when that, so
just gone like that. You know what I'm saying? Right? Now, what they did was honorable, but what was it expedient? Right? Let's hear what Mattathias had to say. Read on.
Khan, verse 39. Now, when Mattathias and his friends understood hereof, they mourned for them right sore. And one of them said to another, if we all do as our brethren have done, and fight not for our lives and laws against the heathen, they will now quickly root us out of the earth. At that time, therefore, they decreed, saying, whosoever shall come to make battle with us on the Sabbath day, we will fight against him. Neither will we die all, as our brethren that were murdered in the secret places.
Right. So if somebody's coming to do harm to you and it's a Sabbath day, you're gonna be like, nah, I can't defend myself. It's a Sabbath. You know what I mean? I'll deal with you tomorrow, but I can't defend myself right now. You see how stupid that sounds? So I'm not gonna say stupid, maybe that's a harsh word, but it is lawful to do good on the Sabbath. That's what Yahushua told us, right? Somebody's trying to harm you, you have to defend yourself on the Sabbath. All right, read on.
Khan, verse 42. Then came there unto him a company of Assyrians, who were mighty men of Israel, even all such as were voluntarily devoted unto the law. Also all they that fled for persecution joined themselves unto them, and were a stay unto them. So they joined their forces, and smote sinful men in their anger, and wicked men in their wrath, but the rest fled to the heathen for succor. Then Mattathias and his friends went round about, and pulled down the altars. And what children soever they found within the coast of Israel uncircumcised, those they circumcised valiantly. They pursued also after the proud men, and the work prospered in their hand. So they recovered the law out of the hand of the Gentiles, and out of the hand of kings. Neither suffered they the sinner to triumph. Now when the time drew near that Mattathias should die, he said unto his sons, now hath pride and rebuke gotten strength, and the time of destruction, and the wrath of indignation. Now therefore, my sons, be ye zealous for the law, and give your lives for the covenant of your fathers. Call to remembrance what acts our fathers did in their time, so ye shall receive, Salakia, so shall ye receive great honor and an everlasting name. Was not Abraham found faithful in temptation? And it was imputed unto him for righteousness.
Right. So Mattathias was basically bringing to recall about the patriarchs and the forefathers and the things that were written before. So when you really understand the Maccabees and this whole feast of dedication thing, they're not doing anything new, right? The things that they were doing were already written before time. They was just recalling it and just putting it into motion, right? So people who don't listen to Israelites when they talk about, well, feast of dedication is not, you know what I mean? We don't celebrate it, this, that, the third. I'm like, why? Why not? All it is going over scriptures, is going over laws, going over valiant works that our forefathers did. What's wrong with that? And if Yahushua kept it, who are you? Right? Read on.
Khan, verse 53. Joseph, in the time of his distress, kept the commandment and was made Lord of Egypt. Phinehas, our father, in being zealous and fervent, obtained the covenant of an everlasting priesthood. Yahushua, for fulfilling the word, was made a judge in Israel.
That's talking about
Caleb,
Joshua. Salakia, that's talking about Joshua, right? Verse 56, read on.
Caleb, for bearing witness before the congregation, received the heritage of the land. David, for being merciful, possessed the throne of an everlasting kingdom. Elias, for being zealous and fervent for the law, was taken up, Salakia, taken up into heaven. Verse 59, Ananias, Azarias and Misael, by believing, were saved out of the flame. Daniel, for his innocency, was delivered from the mouth of lions. And thus consider ye throughout all ages that none that put their trust in him shall be overcome.
Exactly.
Here-
Right. So that's what he was doing. He was just recalling all the acts that happened before and just strengthening his sons, and so that we could continue to fight against the wicked. Right. So from there, let's jump to chapter 3.
Zachariah, you got it.
Con, King. This is First Maccabees, chapter 3, starting at verse 1. Then his son Judas, called Maccabeus, rose up in his stead, and all his brethren helped him, and so did all they that held with his father. And they fought with cheerfulness the battle of Israel. Verse 3. So he gat his people great honor, and put on the breastplate as a giant, and girt his warlike harness about him, and he made battles, protecting the host with his sword.
Right. We're talking about Judas now, right? AKA Maccabeus. Maccabeus, loosely translated, is a hammer. So he was bringing a hammer down on these heathens, rightfully so. And this is good, man. Look, I teach my children about this. I don't teach them about no Superman, no Spider-Man. Teach them about the Maccabees. Teach them about Mattathias. Teach them about, Samson. There's so many great things that we could teach our children about, right? They don't have to look to Marvel or DC or whatever the case may be. These are real life superheroes. Khan? Where we at, Ken?
Verse 4.
Khan.
In his acts he was like a lion, and like a lion's whelp roaring for his prey. For he persuaded the wicked, and sought them out, and burnt up those that vexed his people. Wherefore the wicked shriek for fear of him, and all the workers of iniquity were troubled, because salvation prospered in his hand. Verse 7. He grieved also many kings, and made Jacob glad with his acts, and his memorial is blessed forever. Moreover, he went through the cities of Judah, destroying the ungodly out of them, and turning away wrath from Israel, so that he was renowned unto the uttermost parts of the earth, and he received unto him such as were ready to perish. Then Apollonius gathered the Gentiles together in great hosts out of Samaria to fight against Israel. Which thing, when Judas perceived, he went forth to meet him, and so he smote him and slew him. Many also fell down slain, but the rest fled. Wherefore Judas took their spoils, and Apollonius swore also, and therewith he fought all his long life.
Khan. So he killed a heathen, right? And took his sword and killed other heathens. Now that's gangster. All his life. He took that sword from Apollonius and started killing other heathens with him. So shout out to Judas Maccabeus, man. My man didn't turn down no fades, like they said, right? Only thing he turned down was his collar. And as we read on some more, he's going to bring it to them, So we just got to stay in the mindset that a lot of these heathens, man, listen, you're going to read about how these heathens, they really transpired again. Not only that, they made plans, right? You're going to read where these heathens was doing the Birdman hand rub, like, yeah, once Israel get taken over, we're going to take them and we're going to put them in slavery. These are the same heathens that people want to join hands with. Nah, that's not going to happen, man. We're going to, like it says in the book of Joshua, as for me and my people, we're going to serve the Lord, and we're going to stay true, and we're going to be holy, set apart. We're not joining nobody, right? When the time comes and the prophecies be fulfilled and the Lord choose to do what he does, so let it be. Until then, See, when we join with these other nations, then we're going to talk about, well, let's forget slavery. Let's forget everything that happened. Let's just forget. You know what I mean? That's why the Lord says certain things are to be done as a memorial forever, right? So you don't forget, lest ye forget, like the scripture says. So we got to stay sharp and we got to stay in this thing and rehearse the righteous acts over and over again. So, like this tells you in Deuteronomy, I believe, when your children say to you, "What mean ye by this?" and you'll tell them, "This is what the Lord has done for us. This is why we're keeping this as a memorial, and we're doing it over and over to remember how the Lord delivered us." All right. So where you at?
Verse 13.
Okay, Khan.
Now, when Shiron, a prince of the army of Syria, heard say that Judas had gathered unto him a multitude and company of the faithful to go out with him to war, he said, I will get me a name and honor in the kingdom, for I
Right,
will go fight.
Khan. So he want to get a name off us, but okay, we gonna see. Read on.
Khan. And he said, I will get me a name and honor in the kingdom, for I will go fight with Judas and them that are with him, who despise the king's commandments. So he made him ready to go up, and there went with him a mighty host of ungodly to help him, and to be avenged of the children of Israel. And when he came near to the going up of Beth Horon, Judas went forth to meet him with a small company, who when they saw the host coming to meet them, said unto Judas, how shall we be able, being so few, to fight against a great multitude and so strong, seeing we are ready to faint with fasting all this day? Unto whom Judas answered, it is no hard matter for many to be shut up in the hands of a few, and with the God of heaven it is only one to deliver with a great multitude or a small company.
Khan. So again, Judas was just instilling a zealot spirit into his brothers. And where did he get that from? He got that from the scriptures, man. Hold that. Let me get Proverbs 21, King. Malak, let me get Proverbs 21 and 31. Let me know when you get it.
Khan, this is the book of Proverbs, chapter 21 and verse 31.
Hold on.
The
let me get
horse
it
is,
on the screen. Salakia. Proverbs 21. Yeah, go ahead, King. Salakia.
Khan, this is the book of Proverbs, chapter 21 and verse 31. The horse is prepared against the day of battle, but safety is of the Lord.
Right. So he was telling the people, look, the Most High got us, man. No matter what's going on, the most don't worry about the numbers of the heathens. Yeah, they might outnumber us, but the Most High got us, right? All right, let me get Malak, stay with me. Let me get Psalms 37. Let me get Psalms 37 and then start at 39.
Khan, this is the 37th Psalm, verse 39.
Khan.
But the salvation of the righteous is of the Lord. He is their strength in the time of trouble.
Exactly. So that's what he was doing. He was just exhorting, building them up like, yo, look, we're about to go into battle. It's almost like a pep talk, right? When the coach would hype you up before you go play a football game or whatever game. He's just giving them a pep talk, right? But this is a righteous pep talk. Verse 40.
Khan, verse 40. And the Lord shall help them and deliver them. He shall deliver them from the wicked and save them because they trust in him.
Khan. That's all he was telling them. If you trust in the Lord, he got you, right? With that, let me get Romans 8. Let me get Romans 8 at the You got it, Malak?
Salakia, what verse?
Romans 8, chapter 8, verse 31.
Khan. Salakia. Salakia. This is the book of Romans, chapter 8, and verse 31. What shall we then say to these things? If God be for us, who can be against us?
Khan, and the spirit that Judas had, and that's the spirit he was trying to impart on the men around him, right? So, Zach, where was that? First Maccabees 3 and
Verse 20.
verse 20.
Verse 19, Salakia. This is First Maccabees chapter 3, verse 19. For the victory of battle standeth not in the multitude of an host, but strength cometh from heaven.
Exactly, because you look around, remember, they was ruling, quote unquote, the earth at that time because the Most High had given them the earth. You know what I mean? Pursuant to the book of Daniel's, the Grecians, it was their time to rule. Before that, who was it? It was the Persians. Before that, who was it? It was the Babylonians. So everybody get their certain time to rule. So right now it's their certain time to rule, and they outnumber us. But at the time, look, listen, we're not going to let them desecrate us anymore. We're not going to lay down and die. They already destroyed the temple. That was the mindset that Judas was trying to instill on his people. Like, look, the Most High's for us. Don't worry about the numbers. He got us. All right. Read on.
Khan, verse 20. First Maccabees chapter 3, verse 20. They come against us in much pride and iniquity to destroy us and our wives and children and to spoil us. But we fight for our lives and our laws. Wherefore the Lord himself will overthrow them before our face. And as for you, be ye not afraid of them. You got a little background, Eldo.
I got background noise.
Yeah, you had like a little more
Okay,
whining noise.
Salaki.
Khan,
Better now?
Yeah, you Tawab now.
Okay. Stay with me now. All right, let's go.
Khan of the word. Verse 23. Now, as soon as he left off speaking, he leapt suddenly upon them, and so Shiron and his host was overthrown before him, and they pursued them from the going down of the Beth Horon unto the plain, where were slain about 800 men of them, and the residue fled into the land of the Philistines. Then began the fear of Judas and his brothers, and his brethren, and when exceeding great dread fell upon the nations round about them.
Right. So they're starting to get a name now. Now the heathens starting to tremble when they heard that name Judas. They're like, oh man, the Jew. Nah, I don't want no parts of that. All right. Which is good. Good for them. Read on.
Khan, verse 26. And so much as his fame came into the king, and all nations talked of the battles of Judas. Verse 27. Now when King Antiochus heard these things, he was full of indignation. Wherefore he sent and gathered together all the forces of his realm, even a very strong army. He opened also his treasure and gave his soldiers pay for a year, commanding them to be ready whensoever he should need them. Nevertheless, when he saw that the money of his treasures failed, and that the tributes in the country were small because of the dispensation.
Nah,
Salakia, because of the dissension, Salakia, because of the dissension and plague which he had brought upon the land in taking away the laws which had been of old time.
Right. So he opened up his coffers, he opened up his treasury, and he tried to pay off his soldiers. But then when he saw that, yo, my money's running low, he went to inquire, like, why is our treasury so low? Well, the treasury is low because there's war and dissension in the land, because some of the Israelites did what you asked them to do, right? And the rest was taking it to you. They wasn't having it. They was fighting. and therefore they wasn't gonna pay no tributes. So he never had enough money to move forward, right? So all praises to the Most High for confounding him. Right, read on.
Con,
Verse 30.
book of First Maccabees chapter 3 and verse 30. He feared that he should not be able to bear the charge any longer, nor to have such gifts to give so liberally as he did before, for he had abound above the kings that were before him.
Right. He spent his budget, right? He blew his budget. He's like he was spending more money than the kings before him for such a small nation. Right? That shows you that that's the Most High was with us. And it don't matter how much money you have. And now let's put that in current times, right? I don't care what kind of billion or $1 trillion budget you have. You're not going to wipe out the nation of Israel. We will always be here as long as the sun shines and the stars and the moon and everything. We shall be here. So it don't matter. You got contracts from Raytheon, Northrop Grumman, what's them Boeing. You know, those is all military contract. Those are military companies, right? And that's all Esau does, man. He makes weapons of war. When you go on the stock market and you see all these companies, they booming right now. Why? Because the orange man about to go into Venezuela, right? So what's the sense of having all these bullets, guns, bombs, drones, and all that if you can't use it? They itching to use it. So their whole treasury is just built up just for war. And that's all they want to do. But the Most High is going to confound them just like he did back then. Same thing is going to happen again. Read on.
Con one. Verse 31. This is first Maccabees chapter 3, verse 31. Wherefore, being great perplexed in his mind, he determined to go into Persia, there to take the tributes of the countries and to go gather much money.
Same thing. Now he was greatly perplexed, the orange man. So he determined to go into Venezuela to take the tributes of the oil. You see what I'm saying, King? It's the same thing all over again. When countries running low, they just start a war. Everybody know that war is good business. But the problem is, who are you going to war against? Touch not my anointed, saith the Lord, right? So if you're going to war against the Israelites, you got a problem. Your money ain't long enough. You can't do that. So just like back then, Antiochus was running low on money because he was fighting against Israel. It's the same thing now. They're gonna run out of money. Yeah, they might slay a lot of us, because don't get it twisted. A lot of us did die at that time, right? But not all of us. And the elect, we're gonna pull through along with the 1/3, I should say. Read on.
Going on the one. Verse 32. So he left Lysis, a nobleman, and one of the blood royal, to oversee the affairs of the king from the river Euphrates unto the borders of Egypt, and to bring up his son Antiochus until he came again. Moreover, he delivered unto him the half of his forces and the elephants, and he gave them charge over all things that he would have done, as also concerning them that dwelt in Judah and Jerusalem. To wit, that he should send an army against them to destroy the root out of the strength of Israel and the remnant of Jerusalem, and to go away their memorial, and to take away their memorial from that place. Verse 36, and that he should place strangers in all their quarters and divide their land by lot. So the king took the half of the forces that remained and departed from Antioch, his royal city, in 147 years, 7th year, and have passed the river Euphrates. He went through the high countries. Then Lysias chose Ptolemy, the son of Dorimedes, Nicanor, and Gogaius,
Yeah.
mighty men of the king's friends. And with them he sent 40,000 footmen and 7,000 horsemen to go into the land of Judah and to destroy it, as the king commanded.
So they read up, they got more forces. They said, all right, we're not playing with them. Now we coming, we coming deep. 40,000 footmen, 7,000 horsemen, and we're coming for Judah, right? Not only that, and Antiochus, he went to Persia to go make war with them and take their money. So now he send his his henchman, Lysias with Ptolemy and other people, right? Those are the king's friends to make sure the job get done. So that's where we are. But look what happened now. This is to show you that we as Israel, we wasn't only fighting against the Greeks, we was fighting about our enemies. Whenever our enemies have a chance to nip at our heels and get back at us, they'll take that chance. That's why the scriptures tell you never trust our enemy. I don't care who it is. They all confederate against us, right? Read verse 40.
Verse 40. So they went forth with all their power and came and pitched by Emaus in the plain country. Verse 41. And the merchants of the country, hearing the fame of them, took silver and gold very much with servants, and came into the camp to buy the children of Israel for slaves.
You see that there? Hold on. Read that one more time. Now they when you look on a map, Emmaus, that's north of Judah. So they coming because they coming down from the north, down from Syria, coming down, right? And they coming down to Jerusalem, right? In the land of Judah. So they stop at Emmaus, right? Which is in the plain country, and they just rallying up. And read what verse 41 say again. It says the merchants, they hearing
the merchants
of them. Yeah, read on.
The merchants of the country, hearing the fame of them, took silver and gold very much with servants, and came into the camp to buy the children of Israel for slaves.
So they like, yo, look, when y'all conquer them so-called Jews, let me get first dibs. I want to buy them. That's the merchants of the people around us. That's what I'm saying, man. We can't trust nobody's our friends, right? Read on. And it's going to tell you specifically who. Read on.
A power also of Syria and of the land of the Philistines joined themselves unto them.
Them goddamn Philistines, right? So it's a few people that's always stabbing us in the back. Since the time of Joshua, they was doing that. Since before that, the Philistines, they just wicked as hell. So now they gather up gold and silver, and it's like, yo, look, we ready to buy them Israelites. Soon as you kill them, or the ones you don't kill, we gonna make them slaves and we gonna buy them. That's how wicked it was. That's how it was set against us, right? 42.
Verse 42. Now when Judas and his brethren saw that miseries were multiplied, and that the forces did encamp themselves in their borders, for they knew how the king had given command to destroy the people and utterly abolish them. Verse 43. They said one to another, let us restore the decadent fortune of our people, and let us fight for our people and the sanctuary. Then was the congregation gathered together, that they might be ready for battle, and that they might pray and ask mercy and compassion. Now Jerusalem laid void as a wilderness. There was none of her children that went in or out. The sanctuary also was trodden down, and aliens kept the stronghold. The heathen had their habitation in that place, and joy was taken from Jacob, and the pipe with the harp ceased. Wherefore the Israelites assembled themselves together and came to Mishpah over against Jerusalem. For in Mashpah was the place where they prayed aforetime in Israel. Then they
jump down to verse 50.
Verse 50. Then cried they with a loud voice toward heaven, saying, what shall we do with these, and whither shall we carry them away? For thy sanctuary is trodden down and profaned, and thy priests are in heaviness and brought low. And lo, the heathen are assembled together against us to destroy us. What things they imagine against us, thou knowest. How shall we be able to stand against them, except thou, O God, be our help?
Right. So we crying out to the Most High. Right. So jump down to verse 55, where Judas again got to instill in his people, like, look, we gotta fight. We don't have no other choice. We have to fight. Because at the end of the day, if you don't fight, we're gonna get rooted out of the land, we're gonna get destroyed. So that's the spirit we gotta have. Like, look, we gotta fight. There's no place to run. They got us surrounded. So we have to fight. So Judas is just getting them ready. So read verse 55.
Khan, when we start at verse 54?
Yeah, 54.
Khan, the book of First Maccabees, chapter 3 and verse 54. Then sounded with trumpets and cried with a loud voice. And after this, Judas ordained captains over the people, even captains over thousands and over hundreds and over fifties and over tens.
Right. So where have we seen that before? We've seen that in the book of Deuteronomy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Get that Malak, Deuteronomy 1 and 15. You there, King?
Khan, this is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 1 and verse 15. So I took the chiefs of your tribes, wise men and known, and made them heads over you, captains over thousands, and captains over hundreds, and captains over fifties, and captains over tens, and officers among your tribes.
Right. So that's where Judas got it from. He got it from the writings, the Torah. He got it from Deuteronomy. He saw and read what was done in the time of Moses. And that's what he assembled the people. Verse 55, that's what he did. And after this, Judas ordained captains over the people, even over thousands and over hundreds and fifties and tens. It's the same thing. They are not doing nothing but what they learned from their forefathers before. That's why when you take heritage and history away from a people, they don't know what to do. Right? They don't know what to do, because Mattathias, when you think about it, he told his sons, look, be zealous for the Lord. Right? That's why he did what he did. That's why he slayed the emissary from the king and that wicked Israelite who wanted to sacrifice on the altar. Where did he learn that from? Looking back to Phineas and the time when when they came out, they was in the wilderness, right? They learned. The Most High honored that zeal, right? They learned, look, we got to organize ourselves. We got to set ourselves up in captains and soldiers and everything. They learned that from Moses. So everything that the Maccabees did is just a retelling of what they was told before. And that's an example for us to follow. Like, okay, when times get rough, we got to organize ourselves according to the scriptures. All right? Okay, so where we at? Verse 56. Let's pick it up so we know. We just got a few more. We almost done.
Khan, there's the book of First Maccabees, chapter 3, verse 56. But as for such as were building houses, or had betrothed wives, or were planting vineyards, or were fearful, those he commanded that they should return every man to his own house according to the law.
According to what?
According to the law.
Right. So they following the law. Right. Read on.
So the camp removed and pitched upon the south side of Emasis. Verse 58. And Judas said, arm yourselves and be valiant men, and see that ye be in readiness against the morning, that ye may fight with these nations that are assembled together against us to destroy us and our sanctuary.
Right.
Verse 59.
Right. We don't have no other choice. Like I was saying, that's what he's telling them. Is either you fight or they're gonna kill us and tear up the sanctuary, destroy the temple and everything, which they already blasphemed already. But right now it's either do or die. That's what he's saying. Read on.
Verse 59. For it is better for us to die in battle than to behold the calamities of our people and our sanctuary.
That's the
Nevertheless,
spirit we're supposed to be fighting for. Read on.
Khan, nevertheless, as the will of God is in heaven, so let him do.
Khan. Chapter 4.
Khan, this is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 4, verse 1. Then took Gorgias 5,000 footmen and 1,000 of the best horsemen, and removed out of the camp by night, to the end he might rush in upon the camp of the Jews, and smite them suddenly. And the men of the fortress were his guides.
So this dude tried to be slick. He's like, yo, let's get 5,000 men, and we're going to rush them in the middle of the night. The enemy's sneaky, right? But again, all praise to the Most High, right? The Most High put the spirit of wisdom with Judas, right? Read on.
Now when Judas heard thereof, he himself removed, and the valiant men with him, that he might smite the king's army which was at Emmaus, while as yet the forces were dispersed from the camp. In the mean season came Gorgias by night into the camp of Judas, and when he found no man there, he sought them in the mountains. For said he, these fellows flee from us. But as soon as it was day, Judas showed himself in the plain with 3,000 men, who nevertheless had neither armor nor swords in their minds. Swords to their minds. And they saw the camp of the heathen, that it was strong and well harnessed, and compassed round about with horsemen. And these were expert of war. Then said Judas to the men that were with him, fear ye not their multitude, neither be ye afraid of their assault. Remember how our fathers were delivered in the Red Sea, when Pharaoh pursued them with an army.
So again,
Now
so it's the same thing over and over. He got to constantly build them up, remind them, hey, don't forget what the Lord did for us, right? When Pharaoh was chasing us. Don't forget when this happened. Don't forget when that happened. Why? Because it says in verse 6, real quick, it says, but as soon as it was day, Judas showed himself in the plain with 3,000 men, who nevertheless had neither armor nor sword to their minds, meaning these weren't warriors. They didn't even have armor. They were just regular folk. But they wanted to live and they wanted to fight. They wanted to fight so they could, you know what I mean, have their own land and worship the Most High accordingly. So you got to constantly remind them, like, yeah, stay in the spirit, man. Don't worry. The Lord got us. Don't worry about them. Yeah, they got all type of weapons, this, that, the third. But look, the Most High is with us. The Most High is with us. Nobody can be against us, right? So he constantly let God, he constantly has to give them that pep talk, right? Verse 9.
Verse 9. Remember how our fathers were delivered in the Red Sea, when Pharaoh pursued them with an army. Now, therefore, let us cry unto heaven, if peradventure the Lord will have mercy upon us, and remember the covenant of our fathers, and destroy this host before our face this day, that so all the heathen may know that there is one who delivereth and saveth Israel. Then the strangers lifted up their eyes, and saw them coming over against them. Wherefore they went out of the camp to battle, but they that were with Judas sounded their trumpets. So they joined battle, and the heathen, being discomfited, fled into the plain. Howbeit, all the hindmost of them were slain with the sword, for they pursued them unto Gazara, and unto the plains of Idumea, and Azotus, and Jamnia, so that there were slain of them about 3,000 men. This done, Judas returned again with his host from pursuing them, and said to the people, be not greedy of the spoils, inasmuch as there is a battle before us. And Gorgias and his host are here by us in the mountain. But stand ye now against our enemies, and overcome them, and after this ye may boldly take the spoils.
All right, because he was telling them, don't get cocky right now. You killed the 5,000, but remember, you killed the main host, but remember, you still got that dude Gorgias and the other foot soldiers and stuff that they came out to look for them, but they didn't find Judas, so they went up in the mountains looking for them. So they're like, yo, we still got more work to do, right? So from there, they pretty much took care of them, right? Jump down to verse 23.
Khan, this is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 4, and verse 23. Then Judas returned to spoil the tents, where they got much gold and silver and blue silk and purple of the sea and great riches.
So you see them heathens that had silver and gold, and they was like, yo, we want to buy the Israelites for slaves. See, the Most High flipped it on them. Now, after Judas killed the enemy, he took all their silver and gold and all their precious stuff. So, you know, whatever you plan against the Most High, it ain't going to work, man, especially when dealing with his people, right? Read on.
Khan, verse 24. After this, they went home and sung a song of thanksgiving and praised the Lord in heaven, because it is good, because his mercy endureth forever. Thus Israel had great deliverance that day. Now all the strangers that had escaped came and told Lysias what had happened, who, when he heard thereof, was confounded and discouraged, because neither such things as he would were done unto Israel, nor such things as the king commanded him were come to pass. The next year, therefore, following Lysias, gathered together 70,000 choice men of foot and 5,000 horsemen, that he might subdue them. So they came into Idumea and pitched their tents at Bethsura, and Judas met them with 10,000 men. And when he saw that mighty army, he prayed and said, Blessed art thou, O Savior of Israel, who didst quell the violence of the mighty man by the hand of thy servant David, and gave it. Salakia.
Keep going. I was just saying, Khan.
And gavest the host of strangers into the hands of Jonathan, the son of Saul, and his armor bearer. Shut up this army in the hand of thy people Israel, and let them be confounded in their power and horsemen. Make them to be of no courage, and cause the boldness of their strength to fall away, and let them quake at their destruction. Cast them down with the sword of them that love thee, and let all those that know thy name praise thee with thanksgiving. So they joined battle, and there were slain of the host of Lysias about 5,000 men. Even before them were they slain. Now when Lysias saw his army put to flight, and the manliness of Judas and the manliness of Judas's soldiers, and how they were ready either to live or die valiantly, he went into Antiochia and gathered together a company of strangers, and having made his army greater than it was, he proposed to come again into Judea.
Yeah, so he ain't learned his lesson. He still want to come, but Judas still took it to him. Now, y'all can read more about these battles in chapter 5 and 6 and so on, but for the interest of time, we're going to get to what we came for, which is the dedication of the sanctuary, right? Which is the temple. Start at verse 36.
Khan, chapter 4, verse 36, correct?
Khan, another one. Khan,
is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 4, verse 36. Then Judas and his brethren, behold, Salakia, then said Judas and his brethren, behold, our enemies are discomfited. Let us go up to cleanse and dedicate the sanctuary. Upon this, all the hosts assembled themselves together and went up into Mount Sion. And when they saw the sanctuary desolate, and the altar profaned, and the gates burned up, and shrubs growing in the courts as in a forest, or in one of the mountains, yea, and the priest's chambers pulled down, they rent their clothes, and made great lamentation, and cast ashes upon their heads, and fell down flat to the ground upon their faces, and blew an alarm with the trumpets, and cried toward heaven. Then Judas appointed certain men to fight against those that were in the fortress, until he had cleansed the sanctuary. So he chose priests of blameless conversation, such as had pleasure in the law, who cleansed the sanctuary, and bare out the defiled stones into an unclean place. And when as they consulted what to do with the altar of burnt offerings, which was profaned, they thought it best to pull it down, lest it should be a reproach to them, because the heathen had defiled it. Wherefore they pulled it down. And and laid upon the stones in the mountain of the temple in a convenient place, until there should come a prophet to show what should be done with them. Then they took whole stones according to the law, and built a new altar according to the former, and made up the sanctuary.
Okay. Right. So you can read about that in Exodus chapter 20, verses 24 to 25, when the Most High told the priests and the Israelites when they built the altar to don't use stones hewed by man, right? They got to get whole stones. They can't be cut by any instrument, right? You can read about that in Exodus chapter 20, verses 24 to 25, right? Read on.
Verse 48, and made up the sanctuary and the things that were within the temple, and hallowed the courts. They made also new holy vessels, and into the temple they brought the candlestick, and the altar of burnt offerings, and of incense, and the table. And upon the altar they burned incense, and the lamps that were upon the candlesticks they lighted, that they might give light in the temple. Furthermore, they set the loaves upon the table, and spread out the veils, and finished all the works which they had begun to make.
They had to cleanse the temple, right? And this is what it's about. They cleaned everything. They had to burn incense and tear down stones and things that just you can't do nothing with it. What you gonna do with it? They sacrificed swine flesh on the altar, so you can't use that altar again. You know, so they had to do everything and just pretty much just remodel everything, just clean everything out and start fresh, right? So in essence, that's at this time of year, this is what we should take that as an example. Our bodies are a temple, so this is a perfect time to reassess how you live in your life and your temple, meaning your health. This is the perfect time to take assessment of that, right? So you could clean it and rededicate it, right? Read on.
Verse 52. Now on the 25th and 20th day of the 9th month, which is called the month Caslu, in the 148th year, they rose up betimes in the morning, and offered sacrifice according to the law upon the new altar of burnt offerings, which they had made. Look, at what time and what day the heathen had profaned it. Even in that was it dedicated with songs and citherns and harps and cymbals. Then all the people fell upon their faces, worshiping and praising the God of heaven, who had given them good success. And so they kept the dedication of the altar 8 days, and offered burnt offerings with gladness, and sacrificed the sacrifice of deliverance and praise. They decided also the forefront of the temple, Salakia. They decked also the forefront of the temple with crowns of gold, and with shields, and the gates and the chambers they renewed, and hanged doors upon them. Thus was there very great gladness among the people, for that the reproach of the heathen was put away. Moreover, Judas and his brethren, with the whole congregation of Israel, ordained that the days of the dedication of the altar should be kept in their season from year to year by the space of 8 days, from the 5th and 12th day of the month, Caslu, with mirth and gladness.
So that's what this is about, right? Rededicating the temple. Most importantly, with mirth and gladness, meaning we're supposed to give thanks and be in a cheerful mood. This is not a solemn feast. This is a cheerful feast. And you thank the Most High for what he has done for our forefathers and what he continues to do to us, for us, I should say, right? Now, how we know that this continues to be is when you read the book of John, chapter 10, verse 22, it tells you that Yahushua was also around at that time. Let's get that quick. I got 2 more scriptures and then, we call it a day. Zach, we get John chapter 10, verse 22. Priest brought it out early, but it's apropos, so we have to bring this out because this is exactly what's going on. And it's fitting.
It's the book of John, chapter 10 and verse 22. And it was at Jerusalem, the feast of the dedication, and it was winter. Verse 23. And Jesus, Yahushua, walked into the temple in Solomon's porch.
So as you saw the class earlier, priest broke it down about the temple and how it was laid out, and how the heathens or the Gentiles were outside of the temple. Yahushua walked inside. This scripture is twofold. Number one, it shows that Yahushua kept the feast of dedication, right? So what we were doing back then was honorable, because why would Yahushua honor it if it was not honorable, right? And what the Maccabees did back then, they were just following the customs that the forefathers showed them. So this is nothing new, right? Let me get Romans 15 and 4, and then the book of Judith, chapter 5, and then we call it a night, right? Let me get Romans 15 and 4.
Khan, this is the book of Romans, chapter 15 and verse 4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning.
If Judas did not learn and read about what was done in times before, he wouldn't have known how to assemble his men and to go to war. He wouldn't have known how to rouse them up. He wouldn't have known how to speak words to them, to encourage them, to tell them, remember about Abraham, remember about Joseph, remember about Jacob. He wouldn't have known all of that if he didn't know the scriptures, right? And the same thing with his father, Mattathias. He wouldn't have gotten the zeal to kill that wicked Israelite who was sacrificing on the altar if he didn't remember or know about Phineas and what happened. So everything is interlinked. Everything. One thing goes with the other, line upon line, right? Our history is like a spider web. It's all connected, right? Read it one more time.
Khan, this is the book of Romans, chapter 15 and verse 4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope.
Khan. Now, I know I said that's the last scripture. I have one more scripture. I'm sorry. I just want to bring this out. Let me get First Maccabees chapter 5. Just verse 1. I just want to show y'all something, right? I'll read it real quick. It's the book of First Maccabees chapter 5, verse 1. It says, now when the nations round about heard that the altar was built and the sanctuary renewed as before, it displeased them very much. Now you got to ask yourself and say, why? Why does our altar and our sanctuary being renewed, why does that vex you so much? You see what I'm saying? So these nations have a vested interest into us not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. They get vexed when we start doing the right thing. And you look around in today's society, it's the truth. When we running around acting like a bunch of, ninjas and whatnot, doing this and doing that, just being savages, the white man's happy. Yeah, all is good. We start gathering ourselves together, right? Albeit not under the Lord, but like the Panthers, they get nervous, right? We start gathering ourselves together under different organizations, they get nervous. So whenever we start gathering ourselves together, it's a problem. So I just wanted to bring that out, man. It says, now when the nations round about heard that the altar was built and the sanctuary renewed as before, it displeased them very much. Verse 2, wherefore they thought to destroy the generation of Jacob that was among them, and thereupon they began to slay and destroy the people. So they know that once we're going off, they're happy. Once we start keeping these law, statutes, and commandments and get closer to the Most High, then they get mad. And that's the craziest thing. Okay, so my last scripture, whoever want to get it, let me get the book of Judith, chapter 5.
I got you, other one.
You got me?
Judith. Yeah, Judith chapter 5.
Kind of the one.
Oh, what verse you want?
Start at 20.
Verse 20. Okay. This is the book of Judith, chapter 5 and verse 20. Now, therefore, my Lord and Governor.
Hold on. Let me set the context here. This is a heathen, and he's asking, he's inquiring about who are these people, who are these Israelites, right? Because he's get ready to go to war with us, right? And his one of his generals talked to him and said, "Yo, let me pull you to the side, right? Hold on, let me get that verse real quick. All right, start at verse 3.
The book of Judith, chapter 5, and start at verse 3. And he said unto them, Tell me now, ye sons of Canaan, who is this people is that dwelleth in the hill country, and that are and what are the cities that they inhabit, and what is the multitude of their army, and wherein is their power and strength, and what king is set over them, or captain of their army?
So this heathen is like, who is this people, bro? Who's they captain? Who's they God? Who are they? I need to know who they are before I go to war with them, right? Read verse 4.
Verse 4. And why have they determined not to come and meet me more than all the inhabitants of the west? Verse 5. Then said Achanor, the captain of all the sons of Ammon, Let my Lord now hear a word from the mouth of thy servant.
Let me put you on to these people. That's what he's about to say. He's like, my Lord, let me talk to you for a second. Let me tell you about who these people are, right? Read on.
And I will declare unto thee the truth concerning this people, which dwelleth near thee, and inhabiteth the hill countries, and there shall no lie come out of the mouth of thy servant.
So then he starts to run down about the history, about the famine, how we came out of Egypt. Then he starts to just tell him the whole background of who we are. But jump down to verse 20.
Verse 20. Now therefore, my Lord and governor, if there be any error against this people, and they sin against their God, let us consider that this shall be their ruin. And
read that one more time, Salakia.
Now therefore, verse 20, now therefore, my Lord and governor, if there be any error against this people, and they sin against their God, let us consider that this shall be their ruin, and let us go up, and we shall overcome them.
Right. So if they sin against their God, let's go up. We got them. We're going to overcome them. But read verse 21.
Verse 21, but if there be no iniquity in their nation, let my Lord now pass by, lest their Lord defend them, and their God be for them, and we become a reproach before all the world.
Khan. And that's why that's the reason for First Maccabees 5:1, when it says that when our people started to rebuild the altar, the heathens were mad. But you know what? Let them be mad. I don't care. With that, that's the I'll come to the end. And I just want to say, everybody have a blessed feast of dedication, right? All praises to the Most High, man. It's a beautiful time, right? It's a time of mirth and gladness because the Lord has defended us. So, yeah, enjoy it with your families, brothers and sisters, right? Captain Zach, you got anything you want to say? Good.
I just want to say all praise to Yahweh Bashim Mashiach. Great lesson, Elder. Yeah, everybody enjoy your feast. I'm gonna enjoy my feast. I'm gonna eat some food, drink a little bit of wine. Most High bless all of Yasharallah.
Khan, all praises. Malak, you got anything you want to say?
Great lesson, Elder. Shalom, family. Love y'all. Let's keep going. Keep putting in the work.
Khan, priest probably out of it. The water priest for being on, man. Brothers and sisters, y'all have a blessed night, man. Most High bless y'all.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Yeah. This is a dedication. A little inspiration.
One day, when the war is won, victory will be yours.
Victory's gonna be yours.
It'll be yours. One day, when the kingdom comes, it'll be yours. It's a long way up, and a short way down. Just don't let nobody come and take your crown.
Take your crown.
Trying to make it through the system, but the doors are locked. The Most High got you covered. You're gonna rise to the top.
You're gonna rise, y'all.
This battle will bring victory. On with the greatest book in history. Jacob, you're great, it's no mystery. Yeah, yeah. You know this battle has just begun.
Battle's just
Jacob,
begun.
you're hated by everyone.
All
But
nations
just remember
hate us.
you're the chosen son. Yeah, yeah.
This song is such an inspiration. We get the kingdom though there's much tribulation. Every day I send my prayers up. I even read where Yahweh said he'd raise us up. He gave Abraham the covenants. On the shoulders of Christ will rest the governments. The forces the nations gotta bring to me. The world is ours, our gates open continually. Praise Yahweh cause he gave us life, and sacrifice the reward as you could reign with Christ. Yeah, it's true, the Father made us sons to get a crown, then endure until the Savior comes. In the sight of God, no man is justified. To be approved, I read that gold must be tried. In the end, we're the greatest folks in history. Malachi sing to them about our victory.
This battle will bring victory.
We're gonna get the
On
victory.
the greatest book in history.
Bible's the
Jacob,
greatest
you're great,
book.
it's no mystery. Yeah, yeah. You know this battle has just begun.
Battle has just
Jacob, you're
begun.
hated by everyone, but just remember you're the chosen son. Yeah, yeah.
We give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, for giving Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob the covenants, and for choosing our nation. We appreciate that. Hope the song inspired you.
Yeah.